Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk about Black History Month. The month that is a celebration of my people, because I am a black man and everything. And it's about all our accomplishments, all the oppression that we have gone through over like centuries of living in like America and stuff like that. So I'm here today to talk to you about Twitches, the 2005 Disney original movie, well, Disney Channel original movie that stars Tia and Tamara Murray. And so I remember when this came out, for whatever reason, I didn't watch it or its sequel. I just didn't really feel like it, even though I love Tia and Tamara Maury, but I just didn't feel like watching it. When I got Disney Plus, I finally decided to watch it. The first movie is very, very good. It's very charming. Then you get to the second movie, and well, with the second movie, when I first watched it years ago, I stopped after like 3 minutes because I couldn't take no more of it because the CGI got really bad and it was way more humor. But I finally decided to like finish watching the entire movie. But yeah, when it comes to the first one, I really, really, really enjoyed that movie. Now, Twitches is based on 10 like teen novels that was created by H.B. Gilmore and Randy Reinfeld or Reinfeld, something like that. It was made by Scholastic. And Scholastic is very famous for creating many kids like book series. I believe they also made the Goosebumps series and like Magic School Bus and stuff like that. And these books, they came out in 2001 to 2004, and the setting for when the twins were born was 1986. And so the girls are like teenagers in the books. They're also white, but they race bent them for the movie, which back then people did not care. And if you care now, well, who cares? Plus, they only got half race bent, so only half of you are offended. Because the girls are actually black and white. And so it's depicted that way in the movie. And so, like, people back then didn't complain, but I bet you if it was made today, oh, people, the anti-woke mob would be screaming their heads off, because you know how they are. Now, in the book, the girls are portrayed differently other than just being white. They're teenagers in the books in high school going to like a prep type school. The character of Alex is actually goth in the book, but in the show, she is not depicted that way. Also, the character of Lena, she is actually their cousin along with their guardian, and she has no relationship with Cat Karsh, I think that's his name is. And so there are other changes as well and stuff. And it's interesting that they made these changes for like the movie. Not sure why they didn't keep them, but hey, like, whatever. And so, like, when it comes to that of the movie, in the movie, Alex is more like headstrong, more like, reliable and smarter than that of Cameron. Cameron is more of the outgoing one, a little bit more sillier and stuff like that. And I think that's how she is in the book. And what's interesting is that originally Tia was supposed to be Cameron and Tamara was supposed to be like Alex. But the casting director decided to switch that to make them more similar to that of their characters from Sister. Because Tia played like the smart, reliable one and stuff. Also, what's interesting is that these twins didn't know that they was twins because they never met each other in the books, and it's the way it is in the movie. In the movie, they meet a little bit more differently. In the movie, they meet at a mall while Alex is trying to get a job, and like Cameron is trying to find like an outfit. Very similar, but different, but similar to how they met in Sister, because they met at a mall. And Sister was an amazing show from like the 90s. It was on ABC, then the WB. There was talks of a reboot, but no network wanted to pick up the rebooted like material. And now this makes Tia and Tamara official Disney Channel debut because they was on ABC, which is owned by Disney, and like Sister Sister was rerun on Disney Channel along with Boy Meets World, which, they had to skirt around because they talk about a mature subject matter and sometimes they use curse words, but not often. And so they had to skirt around some things with the censors on Disney Channel. But they made their official debut and they played twin witches. Here, they aged them up to 21. In the movie, the girls are about, 26 in real life. The woman who played their birth mother is only 9 years older than them, and the woman who played the adoptive mother is only 1 year older than them, and you can tell. The first movie was a huge success. The second one also got in many views as well, over like 100 million and stuff. Both movies did. But there was never a third movie made for some bizarre reason, and it's not sure exactly why that is, because there are 10 books in the series. And so the movie revolves around these two twin girls, Alex and Cameron, who were separated at birth from a magical land. Their father was presumably dead, and their mom was left behind, and she had the two guardians take them to a land without magic. Kind of similar to Once Upon a Time that was on ABC. What is also similar is the CGI castles that they used in both the show and the movie, and also how the parts of inside the castle is on a huge blue or green screen, similar to what Once Upon a Time did. Now, the CGI looks amazing in the first movie. The only thing that looks terrible is the darkness. Every time the darkness shows up, it looks crappy. And the way the bad guy is tied up looks crappy as well. But other than that, the CGI is on point. Then you get to the second movie where the CGI just looks like crap. And I mean, it looks like utter crap. Which is shocking because you think a sequel will have a bigger budget. But for whatever reason, it did not. And so the girls' birth names are very unique and interesting. Cameron is Apollo and Alex is Athena. But of course, when they're in their real world, the human or the magical or the non-magical world, they don't know their birth names, and they only go by whatever names they was adopted by. And so the darkness is this form of evil led by an evil man who wants to take all the powers of this fictional land, and I forget the fictional land name. It's something with a C. And so, after their father died, the mother had the guardians separate them and everything, where they lived for 21 years. And so the girls had the power ESP, which is something very heavily in the books. Also in the books, they have their own different power set. One can manipulate the code a lot more, and the other one can do some other stuff. In the movie, they basically just had the powers of a witch. They can do anything similar to what Sabrina do. They have to concentrate, use their powers and stuff like that. However, their powers are not activated fully until they meet and touch for the first time. So as a kid, Alex will come up with these wild imaginatory stories that she would dream about, and she would write them down. And these stories were actually what happened in their magical land before she was even born. Somehow she knew all this crap that happened. Anyway, Cameron draws all this crazy stuff in her dreams of the darkness and the mother and people in castles, this and that. Their adoptive family just thought, they're just being imaginatory. And so Cameron lives a wealthy lifestyle, very similar to how Tamara was in Sister Sister. Whereas Alex, played by Tia, lives in a poor household, similar to that of Sister Sister. And so Alex's adoptive mom has died, and she lives with her best friend and her best friend's little sister, Lucinda. Lucinda doesn't have a much big role in this at all. She's just there to be the best friend and there to get a little jealous when Alex doesn't hang out with her that much, but it's a very tiny role. She is completely absent in the second movie. Now, the actress who plays Lucinda, I remember her from an episode of Goosebumps. She was in the Dead House episode where there's a bunch of zombies trying to eat people and stuff, and they had to be out of the light. And so I I was surprised this was her because her voice has changed and everything. And she wasn't like pale and wore like a hat. So I didn't recognize her. Plus, it's been a whole lot of years since Goosebumps and stuff. And so she's barely in it. But Cameron also has a best friend as well named Beth. Beth shows up in the sequel. And basically she has a small role as well. It would have been nice to see them interact more with their best friends to see how they are, but you get enough of their personality from when they meet. So basically Alex is looking for like a job, and so she goes to the mall looking for one, where she encounters that of her sister. Her very bubbly, like, goofy sister and everything. And her sister's like all excited to see her. It's all like, oh wow, you have like my face and all this other stuff. But Alice could care less and everything. She's not really all that interested in having a twin sister, but she later comes to liking her sister. When they touch hands for the first time, they stop time. And they realize if they try to use their powers by themselves, it kind of backfires in a very explosive kind of way. And if they hold their hands and use their powers, it still explodes and everything because they're not used to using their powers. In comes their guardians, that of Arlene and that of Karsh. In the movie, like I said, they are former like boyfriend and girlfriend, and Arlene is very silly and very goofy. They have great chemistry. But in the books, Arlene is that of their cousin and also guardian, and Karsh is a whole lot older. Here, they're around the same age. In the second movie, Arlene gets like recast, and the chemistry is a whole lot different. The actress is funny, but not as funny as the original one. The original one is just dumb as bricks and loves hot wings and stuff. Whereas the second one's a little bit more mature, but still silly. But the chemistry between her and the Karsh actor just aren't really like clicking that much as it did in the first. For guardians who's supposed to teach them this and look after them, they barely appear in the first movie. They're here to tell them, oh, you're from a magical land, this, and that, and all this other crap, and you can open the portal to like your home world and all this other stuff. But other than that, and then getting captured by the darkness, they don't really do much. But the twins do push their story along by trying to get to know each other, and you do get to know their personalities very well. With, Cameron being very rich and Alex just being like, wow, you're like really rich. But they find the portal to their home world in like the closet. And this is the first time they're there. It looks amazing. It looks very CGI-ish, but it looks amazing. But a second movie, when you go to their homeland, it's just looks like the real world, like our world and everything. They didn't really, they found the place that looked nice, but it just looks ordinary. Like it doesn't look like it come from a magical land like that in the first movie. And so they're roaming around, this and that. And they have to stay away from the darkness. The darkness is still coming for them. And it's this ugly little CGI cloud with hands and everything like that. We don't know who or what the darkness is. Now, their mom has remarried their uncle. They haven't met their uncle just yet. And so it's kind of weird. She married the uncle, but it's only to keep her kingdom. And supposedly something is draining her power. Don't find that out until the third act, and that would have been nice because you get kind of confused every time you go into the magical land. The third act of the movie just completely and utterly sucks, and I'll get into that a little bit later. So Cameron's having like a party, and when the darkness, a Halloween party, because it's Halloween time, and so when the darkness tries to come like to her and her sister, she freaks out by like, yep, screw this, I don't care about the magical land, I don't care about like destiny, I don't care about the prophecy, I am too freaked out. And so she doesn't want to do her responsibilities of saving the world. But Alex does, and she goes to the homeland and talk to her mom. Next thing you know, the darkness comes from that of like Cameron again. And by this time, we find out who the darkness is because she drew a picture of him when she was younger. It's her uncle of all things. Why exactly does the uncle want to take over the kingdom? Don't really know. Why is he trying to take all their magic? Well, it's just to be generic, to be more powerful. How exactly is he able to cause the darkness and go in the darkness and live in the darkness and all this other crap, and how did he become possessed by the darkness? Nobody knows. He is later recast in the second movie. So we get the exposition of like, oh, you're evil and you're draining my power. Why is he draining her power? I don't even think they mentioned that early on in the movie. So they tie him up with some weird CGI crappy magic, and so like he frees himself, he tries to attack everybody, and then the girls just hold hands, they do a chant, they talk about love and what they love, and you see these bursts of light coming up and hitting the darkness, because the darkness can't be around light, and he is defeated. It's really rushed. The whole third act is just completely rushed with just wonky CGI, some good, some bad, and it's just generic defeating somebody with the power of love. I don't like the third act. After that, they go back to live in the real world and this and that. And the two guardians, one wants to live in the real world, the other one doesn't, and she's all like, "But I love hot wings." It's just so funny. But anyways, by the second movie, we learn that both girls are now living with each other. Alex comes to spend the night, a couple of days out of a week, and then she goes back to Lucinda and everything. um there's some more crap going on with like this new darkness and everything, but it turns out the uncle, Thanos, is still alive. That's his name, and he's been recast, and all this other crap and blah blah blah, and it's just oh, they're love interest now and blah blah blah, typically Disney, and it's really 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 silly in the second movie. I don't really care for all that much. Now, like I said, it's a pretty cool movie and everything like that. The adoptive parents are really goofy and silly, kind of how Cameron is, so that's where she gets that from. And you can watch this on Disney Plus. Both the first and the second movie are on Disney Plus, and it's still out on DVD. The weird thing is that they have both movies individually, and then they have both movies together. All three movies, no matter what, are the same price, around $10. That don't make no sense. Why are you gonna pay $10 for individual movie and then $10 for like a bundle? Not only that, but this movie came out in 2005. Shouldn't it be cheaper than just $10 if you get it on Amazon? But if you go on to eBay, oh, it's up to $20. That don't make no sense. Now, one thing that was funny that I read is that the cast and crew had a hard time telling Tia and Tamara apart. I can tell them apart, and not just because Tamara has a mole on the left side of her cheek, but like I can always tell twins apart. I can tell the Olsen twins, the Daniel twins, and the Maury twins, and that's because with both the Daniel and the Maury twins, I crushed on like one twin specifically, so you gotta be able to tell them apart. And it's like their faces just look different. Yes, they're similar, but they're different. Both girls smile completely different, and both girls' eye expressions are completely different. Also, their faces are different sizes. Tia has always had more of a slender like face, and Tamara has always had more of a bit more like a pudgier type face. Happy Black History Month, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye.